I love my mom. I
Yeah.
want her to come. I don't know if this is...
I'm not gonna lie, eradicate this for the fucking earth, bro. He doesn't deserve. YouTube, what's good, y'all boys? Today we're gonna react to Not Everyone Needs a Podcast. Let's go ahead and tap in.
Look, I'm gonna be the one to say it. Just because you have one good conversation with your homies, that does not mean that you need to start a podcast. I'm tired of dudes talking about aliens once, then thinking that they have the right to buy a Shure SM7B from Best Buy. Now they got a podcast called Alien Talks that's just uninteresting and dry. The host sucks, the friends...
Podcast equipment needs to be more expensive. I've been saying this for years, bro. I'm not gonna lie. It shouldn't be this easy to get a hold of podcast equipment, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I don't know why the Tuah podcast even exists. It's crazy. Sky Crew podcast with who?
Suck, and even the podcast name sucks. You're not the next Joe Rogan, bro. Put the mic down and put the fries in the bag. Someone's gotta say it. Remember that one relative that told you that you weren't making it to the NBA when you were like 5 years old? Just think of me as that. Hey, everyone needs a little bit of tough love in their life. Not everyone can be nice in this world. And I'm gonna be the boogeyman here saying how your podcast sucks and your friends are boring. Maybe you should think twice before you take that
trip.
trip.
A Cloud, Yo-Yo, and Stanley podcast. That's what 3-Man Mondays for to be, basically. I think, maybe.
To Best Buy. See, the problem is that this world is way too nice now. And now we have podcast clips of dudes talking about how they want their mothers to have good sexual experiences.
What is wrong with society nowadays, bro?
I love my mom. I want her to come. I don't know if this is...
I'm not gonna lie, eradicate this for the fucking earth, bro. He doesn't deserve, he do not deserve to be living, bro. I'm not gonna lie, bro. What the hell?
This is weird to say, but I want my mom to have flawless experiences.
How do you not know if that's weird to say? Like, oh my...
What is wrong with people, bro?
My gosh, I want my mom to have great sexual experience. That is weird.
I want you to have that,
Yeah,
too.
and I want you to have that as well.
So it's like...
Is that weird to say?
Really, like,
Yes,
I genuinely
yes,
want my mom to
yes.
sound good.
I'm gonna give you some tough love.
I'm not gonna lie, you a cuck, bro. You a cuck. You a cuck. There's something wrong with you mentally, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Yo, you need to be sacrificed, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
You know, this is gonna be the toughest love that you've ever felt. This love is gonna be tougher than a well-done steak. You need to stop podcasting, bro. I'm sorry. Never in my life have I ever thought about my mom having good sexual experiences. Y'all are just odd human beings. What even sparks this conversation? Like, how do you even get to this point? And why was this video even uploaded to the masses, bro? We need to start telling people no more often. You know what, man? I'm thinking about starting a podcast. No, bro, put the mic down. At this point, it needs to be easier to buy an RPG from a gun store than it is to buy a microphone from Best Buy. Because I promise you, if there were background checks for mics, we would be nowhere near this point. It feels like everyone has a podcast nowadays. And when I say everyone, I mean everyone. NBA players, rappers, children. The Tuah girl just started a podcast called Talk Tuah. Don't get me wrong, shout out to her for running up a bag off that one phrase, you know? I saw that she got $30K for popping out to a club a few...
There is no fucking way they paid this girl $30K to pop out to a club. What are we talking about?
weeks ago. Like, kudos to her, you know? I'm gonna clap it up for her. But why would I want to hear that woman speak for 2 hours straight each week about current events in her life? I mean, for crying out loud, she got famous for talking about how
my boy, that's that boy,
how she spits on the pee-pee.
Nah, let me make sure my boy yo, he needs to get his screen time.
Got famous for talking about how she spits on the pee-pee. Why am I supposed to care about what this woman has to say? Does she really need a
I'm not saying that boy's D. I'm saying that my boy D. Okay, bro. Anyway.
Podcast for saying "Huck to" and
spit on that thing. You get me?
The world could go without a podcast from this woman. You know what? Maybe I'm just hating. You know, maybe why don't I just check out one episode?
Can't do it as good as him. Do it. You do it.
No, you do it.
Hot to.
I'm sorry. We had to skip this shit. I didn't see this clip so many times, bro. It pisses me off.
Hot to. Say it aggressive, like hot.
After watching one episode of the Talk to a podcast. After watching one episode of the Talk to a Podcast, I wanted to announce that I am quitting YouTube and becoming a full-time neurosurgeon, astronaut, and monk, all because of this podcast. This is one of the most enlightening podcasts that I have ever watched, and I just wanted to say thank you, Tuah girl, for opening my third eye and helping me evolve as a human being with your phenomenal podcast. I really appreciate you. All jokes aside, no hate to her. She's just capitalizing off her opportunity like any other human being would in her position. reaction. But overall,
He must not know.
I just don't think there's anything really interesting about this woman
must not
that
know.
sets her apart from all these other podcasts out there. Yeah, she may be able to get some great guests on there because the podcast is connected to Better, which is a sports media company co-owned by Jake Paul. But at the end of the day, like, the guests can only carry her so far, you know? Like I said, there's not much interesting about this woman. She got famous for saying how she spits on the nutsack, you feel me? But like I said, she's just capitalizing off of a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Podcasts, after all, aren't the hardest thing to do. Podcasting is one of those things that I believe is easy to start, but hard to master. The bare minimum is to get a few mics, sit down with some friends, record, chat for a little bit, and boom, you got a podcast. Like,
reactions are the same way too. Like, it's so easy to do reactions, but it's hard to be good with them or like be good at it and like grow with it, bro. I ain't gonna lie, I must just be one of them ones, bro, because we got like 111K on the Cloud channel, you feel me? I must just be one of those ones, bro. I might just be, you feel me? I'm pulling, you feel me? I'm doing crazy on a sick day, bro. Right? Like tonight, really, I'm on my flu game type shit, bro. My body feel weak as hell. I got like, look how many tissues I have. I've been blowing my nose this whole time. Look how many tissues I have, bro. But like, shit, man, I don't know, bro. Maybe I'm just a goat. I don't know, man. Hey,
like, it's not that hard. And if you already have an audience, it makes creating a podcast even easier. Because if the audience you've garnered cares to watch you for like maybe a few seconds or a few minutes each day, they'll for sure listen to you talk for about 2 hours each week. So it makes sense to why so many people are starting podcasts nowadays. But like the title says, not everyone needs one. While some of them are good, some just feel like people talking just to talk. Like, I wouldn't even call some people's podcast a podcast. I'd rather call it mic terrorism. The other day, I saw a podcast clip of two dudes talking about lefty loosey, righty tighty being the greatest invention of all time.
Lefty loosey, righty tighty is the craziest invention of man. I use that all the time. The saying lefty loosey.
yeah, I'm not finna lie. Remove your mic, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Remove your mic, bro. We gonna have to start making like microphone licenses and shit, bro. Like, certain people should just not be allowed to get mics or some shit. I ain't gonna lie. What the hell? I ain't gonna lie. Take that mic away from him, bro.
Loosey, righty tighty. We just got a new machine. It's like it's called an articulating log loader.
Yeah, what?
Sounds like my toilet paper. Yeah. There's forks like this that picks up a log and then it can open and close on it. And the left button opens it and the right button closes it. And I literally say to myself, I'm like, lefty loosey, righty tighty. When I need to let go or grab on. It's the lefty loosey. I might get that tattooed on myself.
Like, no offense to
All right, bro. Let's stop glazing that shit, bro.
these two dudes at all, because they're probably great people. I could probably sit down, chop it up with them, eat a steak, and just vibe out with these dudes. But there's got to be something way more interesting to talk about than a saying used for when you're screwing something in. Like, what's next? Are we gonna talk about bunny
A phrase used when you're screwing something in. Let's say I'm trying to fuck a girl, right? If I like finger her with the left hand, will it be looser than if I finger her with the right hand? Or maybe I'm trying to stick my dick in. If I stick my dick in like through the left side, will it be looser than if I stick it through the right side? I need to experiment with that when I'm off celibacy, bro. Low-key, I'm finna experiment with that and report back to y'all.
ears being the best method to tie your shoes, or maybe even schist being the best rock there is. This conversation just feels so bland and pointless. Like, if an alien were to imagine two human beings talking, I'm pretty sure it'd think of this AI generated ass convo right here. Like, this is the product of podcasts being so easy to start up. We now have dudes talking about screwing mechanisms as a topic of interest. Like, I don't think every conversation has to be important in a podcast, but there's no way that these dudes copped some premium podcast mics, got the setup and everything just to talk about lefty loosey, righty tighty. This podcast just has no meaning at all. It's just yip and yap going back and forth about nothing. I swear these podcasts just get worse and worse, bro. Like, there's just too many podcasts now, and what more is there really to talk about? We gotta sit here and like just think for a second. What more is there really to talk about? Instead of having to get a degree for a job, people need to start getting a degree for a podcast. Like, let's just be real. Like, is there really a need for a podcast where frat dudes talk about Tuah?
Bro, I don't know if you heard of the Tuah girl.
Yeah.
Sit on that thing.
Bro, that blew out of proportion. Like, I low-key think it got too big.
You think?
Yeah.
I don't even know if I've seen the clip, but good for her, I guess. I don't know.
No, like, it's everywhere. Dude, even at, like, Old Town, you'll hear Tuah remix.
Here's my thing with this whole little thing, right? Life is Girls' ass idea. Okay, look. Here's my thing, right? there's no, what's the point of this podcast? You're just talking into a mic. What are you talking about, bro? Plus, you got the mic all up in your face and shit, bro. I'm hearing every single fucking word and syllable is spit particle come out your mouth and shit. Like, what? Yo, you're just saying a whole lot of nothing. And that's my thing with this, bro.
Really?
What the hell?
Yes.
Bro, I think it's crazy that you can like do one little thing and a clip can go viral and then all of a sudden the next day you're like a celebrity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's crazy.
Yo, this guy in the comment section even gets it. This man said podcast equipment should cost $1 billion. I totally agree. I'm not gonna lie, like, no offense to these dudes, probably some great people, but I'd rather
Yeah, for
drag my
sure.
balls through the hot Sahara Desert than listen to these frat dudes talk for 2 hours straight. You best believe I'm serving a life sentence before I listen to Jimmy and Tom from the Beta Theta Sigma frat talk on a podcast for 2 hours. Like, this podcast is just drier than a Popeye's biscuit. There is no energy at all to
Like,
this
what's the point of it,
conversation.
bro?
And
Like, yo, what am I getting out of this podcast, bro?
you may be thinking,
2 hours of you talking about bullshit like that? Like, come on, I can't do it.
and like, bro, you can't judge off of just one clip of the podcast, you know? This is every clip.
What is your favorite frat?
I don't know. I like how big SAE's parties are and like
Yeah.
Lambda, but like I think ASIG just threw a really cool party. So
I
think-
heard, dude.
Yeah.
Kyle was just on it. He's an ASIG.
Yeah.
Like, what? Like, this is a one-on-one conversation. We should not be involved in this, bro. We don't know what ASIG, we don't know what Kappa Leo, blah, 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 did, like, with the party. We don't know. That's just yapping.
It was a
That's
really
dope.
good party.
This podcast just sucks. This convo just sounds so generic and bland. No energy at all. Just, what's your favorite frat? I like SAA. They're bad.
This is not
oh
a
my
cool
God.
Young
I heard
God
Kyle's
vibes.
there.
I'm not gonna lie. That podcast was cool, though. But it literally had no substance. Like, they would just be talking about random shit. Unless Dawn got into one of his tangents, bro. That would get interesting.
There. Like, get this off the airways, bruh. Like, what did Joe Budden say?
That shit is a 2-pack of ass.
I genuinely wish I could take back the few seconds of my life I wasted watching that podcast clip, because now I just feel 10x dumber than what I was before. I feel like one of the keys to a great podcast is an entertaining host, because there's gonna be boring parts to a podcast, and it's up to the host to make that podcast interesting when it's getting dry. But the problem with this podcast is that the host has the personality of a raw chicken wing. So when he talks about boring topics and he's also boring, that just makes the podcast 10 times more boring. Another problem with
I'm gonna be real. An easy way to spice up conversations is just saying some wild shit. Like, literally, it's like such a method. Say some wild shit, right? And then following it up with like a wild story is the best way. I'm not gonna lie. Low key.
everyone starting a podcast is that some people don't believe that they need to do proper research
After
before
that,
they
everybody's
record. Like a little bit
entertained.
ago on Twitch,
Oh,
there was
you're
this streamer named Jason the Ween who hit 100,000 subscribers, you know? He was number 2 on Twitch for his amount of subscribers in that month. And then there was this shitty TikTok podcast called the 949 Podcast that decided to give their opinion on the whole situation. And note, they're not really knowledgeable when it comes to this whole streaming space. So this was their take.
Streaming is the new wave. It's
It
'cause
is.
Yeah.
it's just, but the thing is, it's the new wave because of clips.
Exactly.
Like Jason the Ween, guess how many live viewers he has? Just guess.
Depends on the time.
Just guess.
Like
you guys
5K?
guess. Well, how many live viewers do you think he got?
Like 3K?
3K. So like he's like a number 2, or I guess like, well, he has like around 15 to 20.
Oh.
Oh,
You know what
wow.
I'm saying?
That's
But
pretty
But the
good.
thing about it, like, that's not that good in terms of like views.
That's true,
I feel
but
like it's-
live.
Nigga, what? So you're just not tapped into Twitch at all? Like, okay, you can't come onto a podcast finna talk shit about somebody, and you don't even know what you're talking. Like, what? You don't know what you're talking about at all. 20K live viewers is crazy. That's 20,000 niggas that are taking the time out of the day to see you just do whatever. I'm not finna lie, but I ain't gonna lie. From what I've been hearing, bro, Jason the Weed is like the new representative of the Asian community. But like, some people don't like that, and some people do like that. I don't know. They're very mixed on that. I guess they are on the side that don't like it.
Good for live.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's good for live, but think about the people in the world. It's only 15K.
15K.
Nigga, how many are watching you? Like, what are we talking about, bro? Like, yo, as a content creator, you can't make a video. Yo, you can't do some shit like this, bro. This is just crazy hate.
So that's what I'm saying. Streaming is not like a mainstream thing
Big,
yet.
big,
It's only
yeah.
mainstream because of the clips that they put out after.
Yeah.
Right.
Which get
Okay, bro.
millions and millions of views.
Right.
Stupid.
But no one's actually watching that shit live.
Yeah.
20,000 people
There's
is a
a
lot
few
of
things
people.
that piss me off about
That's
this
so
Dookie TikTok
stupid.
podcast. Number one, this man is saying streaming is only big because of clips. Yeah, because nobody's gonna sit there and watch an 8-hour stream front to back, you idiot. So to make it more digestible for the average viewer, streamers and their audiences make clips so that more people can see their streams. What's so bad about that? Another thing this man says is 15K live viewers isn't good views because the clips get millions of views. That's how the internet works. And 15K is good because it puts him in the top 0.1% of streamers. Like, why is it surprising that a live stream has less views than a TikTok video? Are we becoming
Exactly.
this
Like,
slow
are we
in
slow?
society
Like,
where
what are
we
we
can't
talking about?
comprehend that a live stream that you have to watch live has less views than a video where you can watch whenever? This dude knows nothing about what he's talking about. He's just saying a hot take because he has a mic in his face with the cameras on. This podcast just sounds like one huge gossip session. That's the problem with a lot of these podcasts. Some of them are just gossip.
Bro, Asian niggas just don't like Jason. Like, it's either they love him or they hate him. It's so weird. I don't know.
Sessions. Another situation of a podcast host not knowing what they're talking about is this one right here. So a little bit ago, there's a situation with Kai Cenat, right? He had a cameraman that was talking to an underage girl, and this podcast decided to put out their take on it because, hey, it was a fresh topic. Why don't we say something about it, you know? Why don't we do it for the clicks and engagement? And this is what they had to say.
Kai Cenat, everybody can't go.
This
You
the
need
fucked
to
up
start
part, though.
looking around. And
I see this shit. This is so fucking brain dead, bro.
I know, like, black people specifically, when you get some success, you want to bring everybody with you, but you got to be able to kind of weed that shit out. I should have known who Chris V is. I should have known who Chris Next Door is.
But Chris Next Door is literally an AMP member. What do you mean that you shouldn't know who he is?
I should know who Kai Cenat is because you are the driving force in it, but them I shouldn't even know who they are.
I think it's a
Nigga, what? It's like saying, like, yo, I'll fuck with the Migos, but I shouldn't know who Takeoff or Offset was. I should only know Quavo because he's the biggest. What the fuck are we talking about?
Important to highlight that Chris Next Door is an AMP member. If you guys don't know what AMP is, that is Kai Cenat's group.
That's the problem. Kai Cenat shouldn't have a group.
Kai Cenat joined the group before he became this huge...
Nigga, yo, chat. We're getting to the point where niggas don't even know where Kai Cenat came from, bro. When Kai Cenat joined the group, he was the smallest member by 4. The group is a big reason on why he's so big. Why would he leave these niggas? Y'all niggas are just brain dead and y'all don't know what y'all talking about.
Mega streaming machine. This dude knows nothing about what he's talking about. He's just saying a hot take because he's on a podcast.
That's how they got on.
Yeah. Having a team and making it
No,
with your
it's
team
not.
is very important. But if there are problematic people in there, kick them out immediately.
But
yes.
you gotta know when you are the one, like he is the one. I get it.
So he
cool.
should abandon everybody?
Yes.
He did not do this alone. Like, there was a journey of a camp of
They
them.
came together.
And I agree, like, this problematic person, this person that was underage girls, he has to go. Like, bye, we're never speaking to you, cut ties.
Now that we are here and it's the second, third, however many times something like this has happened, what does he do moving forward? Because now it can't keep.
Nigga, this is a grown ass man worried about another grown ass man's life. This much. Nigga, if you don't shut your ass up, like, it's just weird. This is weird, bro. This is weird. All of A&P. Look, Chad, I'm gonna tell y'all something, bro. All of A&P make more money than you can ever imagine, bro. Even the smallest member, Chris, he makes more money than you can even imagine, bro. So I'm finna just say this. He for sure makes more money than you. Why are you so fucking, you feel me? Why you so worried about him, bro? Like, Chris Clout would just run, I don't know, bro. It's so weird.
Keep happening. You have to insulate yourself because at the end of the day, that group doesn't mean anything without him.
That is cap because everyone actually grew themselves before they were in AMP. That's why it works so well as a group because everyone had their own platform before joining. Except for Chris. He kind of created his platform after, but he was still pretty known. But this guy just knows nothing about what he's talking about. And this is my problem with so many of these podcasts. Like, if you're going to put out a statement on any current topic, you got to do the research to back it up. You're going to end up looking like an idiot. You can't just go in willy-nilly on something that you know nothing about. That's why a lot of bigger podcasts like Joe Rogan have someone who can fact check, which is Jamie on his podcast. And if you can't afford someone to be in that spot, you should just look it up yourself before you put out this idiotic take on something you know nothing about. Like, there's a difference between a hot take and just a bad and uneducated take. And this right here is what I consider an uneducated take because he just lacks the knowledge on what he's talking about. I like how some people people on the podcast are like trying to tell him like, yo, it's not like this, it's kind of like this, but he just doesn't want to listen. He just decides to be ignorant. I swear some people just get a mic in their face and their brains just go to mush. They don't know what they're talking about. I seen a dude the other day talking about how you need to stop wearing Nike socks with shoes for no reason at all, just because he said so.
Stop wearing
It would be a nigga that looks like this, bro. I'm not finna lie.
Nike socks with shoes, bro, or a designer shoe. Even if you wear Nike socks with some Air Force Ones, just stop doing that, bro. I'm sorry, bro. I just can't see nobody wear no Nike socks with a pair of shoes, bro. Like, what are you doing? I think that's crazy.
What do your socks have to do with anything on your fit? I understand if somebody says
what
stop
are we
wearing
talking about,
a Nike
bro?
shirt with Adidas pants, like that does kind of make sense. But stop wearing Nike socks with shoes. Why?
Grown-ass man
Why don't
saying
you tell
that.
us why? Why? I think people got to
All right, what are we
realize it's
talking
fine
about,
to have
bro?
conversations without them being recorded. You know, we need to start stripping cameras and microphones away from society. Everyone has a voice, but not everyone's voice needs to be heard. And since this is a video about podcasts, there's another thing I got to get on my chest, bro. Alpha male podcast. This podcast format honestly just needs to retire, bro. Like when
The one where they bring all these OnlyFans tutors onto the fucking podcast set. They just talk about bullshit. Nah, they gotta retire that.
Tell you,
That's
these
stupid.
podcasts are one of the worst things to ever hit the internet, because after these podcasts hit, all people would argue about is who was worse, women or men. I hate this whole argument, because can we all just agree that men do bad things and so do women? Men lie and women lie. Are we done now? Like, I hate this whole format of podcasts. But yeah, not everyone should have a podcast. Don't just think because you have one good conversation with your homie that you now need this full Joe Rogan podcast setup. No, you don't need that at all. You don't even need a podcast, bro. What you need is a muzzle. But all that being said, this is gonna wrap up the video. If you guys made this far,
Hey, good video, Cammy. Good video, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Yo, Chad, what's the worst podcast I ever seen? Me personally, that Hawk Tuah shit is terrible. Like, I'm not even just saying that, bro. It's just genuinely bad. I don't like them alpha male podcasts either, because like all they're doing is just bringing like thoters, hoes, and whores who don't have real women opinions. They just have whore opinions, and they just try to use them as an example.